Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our press launch. My name is Alex, and I'll be the MC for this event. Now, first of all, I would like to thank to our media, partners, and guests for being present in this press launch. Now, today marks the date in which we witness the joining hands between Mastery Asia and Ourspace as the official marketing partner in the Malaysian market. So as you may know, co-working spaces are one of the fastest growing sector in the commercial real estate industry worldwide, experiencing a boom particularly in Asia. So without a doubt, it is a buzzword amongst the entrepreneurs, SME, and the startup. So right now, to begin the session, I would like to invite the CEO of Mastery Asia, Mr. KLCC, to share with you a little more on why this collaboration and why Ourspace. Let's give a big hand to Mr. KC.
I'll just do a quick run through and explain to you a little bit about the company. Mastery Asia is a Malaysian company, although we have operation in Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and China. And we are a 20-year-old company. We have been in this space of educating entrepreneurs as well as investors over the last 20 years. So we provide mentoring and coaching and education for the sector which I mentioned, which is entrepreneur and investors. And we have close to about 15,000 members in our community, not all in Malaysia, in the whole region, covering Hong Kong, China, even Middle East, Australia, and so forth. So in the last 20 years, we have close to 15,000 people who has been into our coaching and mentoring program. And what we do is we support them and help them in their pursuit for financial well-being as well as in their business success. So that's what we do. And that's the organization that has been helping people in the region, and we also look for various kinds of opportunities for our members to explore. Now, these are some of the product lines that we have. Money Mastery is our main program, and this has been established since '97. We also have a property investment mastery, investment mastery, internet mastery. These are some of the programs that we have. They're all mentoring program, coaching and mentoring program. Now, out of that, we have an investor group of about 2,000 members who are looking for opportunities to find a good investment opportunity as well. Now, we also have an organization called the Institute of Entrepreneurship. This is an organization that's specially set up to train and coach entrepreneurs through online. We have an online program to support and train entrepreneurs from startup level up to even established entrepreneurs. And we've been doing that for a couple of years. And the other are some of the other products that we have. Now, 2 years ago, we started focusing on SMEs and entrepreneurs, and we started a company called Quest Entrepreneurial Mastery, which is run by our CEO. If you look behind his head, it's Mr. Ivan. If you want to ask him later, he will tell you more about this. Another division of ours, which basically focus on building communities of young entrepreneurs and giving them necessary support. As we go through all this, it becomes quite evident that many of them needs more than just the soft part of it, the soft skill, which is the coaching, mentoring, and giving them support. They always want to, when they start up, look for a place that becomes a common place, not common ground, common place for entrepreneurs to gather and to use the place. So when we had the opportunity to connect with an organization, Ourspace, we felt that there's a very good fit to the community that we've built over the years. And I won't talk about Ourspace, I'll let the CEO came all the way to speak to you about that. So the reason why we want to get into this partnering is to provide facilities and support and a place for entrepreneurs to go to where they can interact and get the necessary support as well. And of course, many other things required in a common co-working space. In 2015, I was writing a column every month for a magazine called SME and Entrepreneurship. And at the beginning of the year, I would always write the top 10 business opportunities for the year. And I wrote about the exciting opportunity for co-working space. Of course, we call it shared office, virtual office, that the whole group of that. I repeated that opportunity in 2016, and I see this as a hot area, and it's all based on the trend and the habits of people. Those were the days when you set up your own office, you run your own business, but today business is a lot to do with collaboration, people working together, because unlike 20 years ago, things don't move very fast. But today in business, speed is everything. And if speed becomes the criteria of success, you realize that as an individual entrepreneur, you can't do it yourself. You have to network, you have to work with others. So the co-working space concept fits in very well to the time and age of today, of connecting, of working with each other, of being in a place. And also the lifestyle of people have changed, and people want to have a more relaxed environment, and that's exactly what the co-working space provides. So that's my take, and if you have any question, I will be more than pleased to answer them. Meanwhile, I will stop and pass on to the next person. Okay, go ahead.
Right, thank you, Mr. KCC. And now I'd like to invite Mr. Kevin Halliwell, the CEO of Ourspace, to share with you the future plan of the Ourspace, why Asia and why KL. Give me a big hand.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming along this afternoon. Really appreciate it. I arrived from Dubai last night, where Ourspace is headquartered. So a bit of a funny time zone for me today. So is it morning, afternoon? I don't know. But anyway, we're all here, so that's good. Let's talk about co-working. I know Mr. Casey has just gone into a little detail on co-working. But why is it becoming such a trend at the moment? Why is co-working the fastest growing sector in commercial real estate? Why is that? Well, I think where we are at the moment, we're seeing the big companies, the multinational companies, realise that when they take huge amounts of office space and they look around their companies, they see that their desks are not utilised in the way that they thought they were. People are not sat at their desks. They're out with their clients, they're having meetings outside, they're in the boardroom, wherever they are, but they're not sat at their desk. And what that has now manifested itself in is the big multinational companies, companies like Deloitte, KPMG, Deutsche Bank, these kind of companies taking their staff to co-working locations, and particularly in the support roles. So let's take somebody like KPMG. They might come into Malaysia, into Kuala Lumpur, to do a huge audit for Petronas, let's say, and they don't have enough staff. They don't have enough audit staff working locally in the market here to do those kind of big audits. So what do? They bring staff in from Hong Kong, bring clerks in from Singapore, from Bangkok, and all the surrounding markets. Well, they don't have enough office space when they brought all those people in. But what they can do, they can take co-working space on a very flexible basis, on flexible terms. The finance director of those companies can justify it because he can take a space for a limited amount of time, for a limited amount of people, and charge the cost of that space to the audit itself. So what they find is that their financial reporting and their cost of providing office space becomes an operational expense instead of a capital expense. And for every finance director of every big company, that is the holy grail. If you can get everything onto your operating expenses and take it off your balance sheet and get rid of depreciation and the long-term aspect, this is a great thing. Also, what we find is that, let's go back to my imaginary audit with Patronus. If they need 300 clerks, say, to conduct the Patronus audit, what will happen is that most of the week, most of those clerks will be in the client's office, interviewing staff, sat with the finance team, and actually doing the audit. They only go back to the co-working space to write up their findings. So what they typically find is that 300 audit clerks, they can manage with 50, 60, 70, 80 desk spaces. Because what happens is 3 out of the 4 clerks are in the client's office at most times, so that they can work it all between themselves, so they can take less space, use it more over and over again, which is the hot desking concept that's intrinsic to co-working, and save cost and money and get everything onto the operational expense by working in a different way in a different location. And you think to yourself, well, wait a minute, you know, how can somebody like KPMG sit in an open co-working location and do an audit for a big company with other people walking around? Well, the fact is they don't. They take closed offices in those areas and they use co-working as an internal concept, not as an external concept. So co-working has many faces. It's got a multinational face and it's got a solopreneur face as well, and everything in between. So the lady or gentleman starting their new business, they can go into open co-working. They can sit in the open area, and they can share their co-working facilities with other like-minded entrepreneurs. And what happens when that kind of collision occurs is that people become better at their business. They get other facilities. For example, if you start a business, the first thing you're going to need is some business cards. You're going to need a website doing. You're going to need registering in the local community. You're going to need some clients. You're going to need some friends and some mentors to help you. Now, of course, you know, these are some of the things that you just heard KC talk about. And these are the things that he provides in his mentoring program. So those kind of facilities need to be provided in the co-working locations. But wouldn't it be great if you started a business and you came into a collaborative environment and you said, hey, any graphic designers here? And the lady in the corner says, yeah, me. And she comes over immediately, she does your business cards for you. There's a web designer here, he'll do your website. Maybe whatever you sell, he needs. So people can start to barter trade. We're going back to the old days again, aren't we? Where people trade services as opposed to money. And that's how businesses start to grow, by collaboration and by having access to other facilities. You know, nobody on the first day of their new business can afford to have a marketing director and a sales director and a finance team. You need to buy them in as you need them. And that's how small businesses grow. And co-working is a perfect environment for that to happen. So that's where the co-working concept comes from. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of co-working locations around the world right now. They're called Starbucks and Costa and Gloria Jeans. Yeah? How many people do you see in there these days with an Apple laptop? All of them. So they're using those coffee shops as co-working locations. Where are the people that are not in a coffee shop, that have a business? They're working on their dining table at home. So these are all people that could benefit from the collaboration and working in a co-working environment. So what we'll start to see is the coffee shop solopreneurs moving into better workspace. Of course, for a coffee shop, somebody working there is a nightmare, isn't it? Why? Because they're going to take one coffee in the morning and they're going to sit there for as long as possible for the price of one coffee. We all do it. We do, don't we? We all do it. You're going to sit there for as long as you want for the price of a coffee. So of course Starbucks have got clever now, haven't they? What they do, they give you a ticket for the internet, and after an hour it runs out. So whether you like it or not, you're having 8 coffees and you're going to stay there all day. So that's their way to make their revenue model back, because their base model is based around, you go in, you have an espresso, you leave. Somebody else comes, have an espresso, they leave. Yeah, they're turning the same table or desk, as we might call it, over time and time and time again. Familiar, huh? That's exactly how co-working works. People come in, they do what they've got to do, they leave. Somebody else comes, they take the same desk, the same hot desk. Of course we do fixed space as well for the people that need that. But the parallels with the hospitality industry or the gym industry, perfect. One set of equipment and many people able to use it. That's co-working, and that's why the market is hot. So that's the basic fundamental principle of what we're doing here. The co-working spaces are springing up everywhere. Ourspace are on a mission right now to create 50 locations in 12 key cities around the world as phase 1 of our global rollout. And when I say global rollout, I mean global rollout. Our first 4 locations will be on 4 different continents. Nobody has ever done that before. So we've got one opening in Miami right now, we've got one opening in Manchester, one opening in Leeds, that's 2 in Europe, and we've got one opening in Dubai that covers the Middle East area, and our next direct openings will be in Asia. So we're sending a real clear message to the market that we are one of the global providers in co-working, and there aren't many of us. There are lots of local providers, but not many global ones. And there's a clear gap in the market for a quality global provider of co-working with ancillary service. So, what makes Ourspace different? When we started, our concept design team were briefed to create a space where people can be the best they can be. Now, in order to be the best you can be, that's got many faces, hasn't it? You have to eat well, you have to live well, you have to work well, sleep well, be good in business, all of those different aspects. So we took all of those into account. And you look at a little phrase, and I like this phrase, it's very simple. Human nature. What is human nature? Well, if you split it, it's 2 words. One is human and the other is nature. But they're intended to be connected, because people are intended to be connected with nature. So we said, okay, let's think about the time when we felt the best that we ever felt in our lives. Where were you when you felt that? You sat at your desk? I doubt it. Were you in a forest? Were you by the sea? Were you up a mountain? By a river? In a spa? Those kind of environments are really the triggers for most people, where they really get to be at one with themselves. It's just rain and you can smell the ozone, and you're in a park or a forest, connected with nature. So we said, okay, well, let's have a look at that. How can we connect humans and nature in the workplace? And funnily enough, there's actually a science about it, and the name of that science is called biophilic design. Funny word, but what it means is take the outdoors and bring it indoors. So that's exactly what we've done, and we'll show you some visuals on the screen in a minute or two. I'll come back to it, but what you'll see when I show you the elements of what we've created, you will see greenery, you'll see wood, you'll see stone, and you'll see water, all as part of the Ourspace design philosophy. So we're really connecting humans with nature. Now, of course, there's a missing point there in the workplace, and that's technology. Nobody can work these days without technology. You know, we don't just need it, we rely on it, don't we? So there's a third point, and Ourspace is all about connecting humans with nature and technology. But the technology doesn't get in the way, it's not intrusive, it just works. And of course, you know, technology that gets in the way is easy to find. Technology that just works and it becomes a seamless part of the working day is much more difficult, but it's definitely achievable. And that's a core principle within the Ourspace concept. On the screen here, this is actually an image from our Dubai location. So we'll go into more detail, but just to illustrate my point, if you look at the reception desk to the left, it's imagine there's a pack of timber, so there's a real, you know, raw natural wood element in there. There's lots of greenery. You can see there's a little river that runs around the reception, just up the left side here. All of the floor is all stone, and on the right side, it's difficult to see on this display, but the plant feature on the right side is actually an infinity plant display. So you look into it, and the plants just go on forever and ever. So I've never seen one of those before until we did one for this location. So that's the kind of base of the environment that we give. It's very natural. It's very organic. The air that you breathe in there is super oxygenated because of all the plants. So immediately when you go in, you know, you take a big deep breath and you feel vitalised when you go into a workplace. There is actually a syndrome called SAP building syndrome. And you go into a building and you immediately feel like, you know, you're depressed.
Toxic environment.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, a toxic environment. This is not one of them. This is completely the other way. You know, you walk into our office and you wonder why you feel as good as you do, and it's for those exact reasons. You know, the receptors are set in your mind to be connected with nature, oxygenated, and ready for the day ahead. So, if we just go back, Dean, just to talk about the co-working sector. What we're finding at the moment, it's all very well for me to stand here and tell you about the co-working sector. But it's not just me saying it. It's evidenced by some of the the great global titles that you'll see. But better than that, it's evidenced by the amount of investment that's going into this sector at the moment. On my phone there, I'm just reading a story today. There's a co-working provider called WeWork, a huge US company. They were a startup 7 years ago. They're now valued at $20 billion. And a Japanese bank called SoftBank has just invested $4.4 billion into WeWork. $4.4 billion in the sector. There was a company in London called the Office Group that was sold for $500 million about 2 months ago. An investment group called the Carlyle Group put $150 million into the sector. So it's really attracting big ticket investors at the moment at institutional level. And there's one thing that I know about industries and sectors. When institutional investment starts to go in at that level, you know that there are some fundamentals that are right about the sector. So there's a couple of slides here that just show, you know, the news and and some local stories about what's happening with co-working. Company in KL here called Common Ground, doing quite well. Another one called Ourspace. So Dean here has done lots of market survey on these places. So when it comes to the question session later, he's the right guy to ask about the local KL market co-working in this sector. Okay, so look at the imagery there, and we talked before about human nature, and that image for me, that defines what I'm talking about. It's the connection of the human and nature, and that's an image that we use on a global basis to portray our brand. Okay, is it the co-working video? Yeah. Okay. So there's a video for I think about a minute and a half, and this is something that you'll be able to go and look up afterwards on YouTube. But this just goes through the reasons for the co-working phenomenon. I'll let you watch the video.
The number of co-working spaces around the world has increased by 400% in the past 2 years. These innovative spaces are cropping up everywhere. Co-working is redefining the way we work. Co-working spaces offer more than just shared offices and good coffee. These collaborative communities provide something special: connectedness. With the cultural shift to mobility, more people are parting ways with their traditional work environment. Let's see why people are ditching their cubes, giving up their home offices, and moving from their local coffee shops. In the corporate setting, the average cube shrank from 500 square feet to 200 square feet. To reduce cost and enhance productivity, corporations are adopting alternative work strategies. This freedom allows their employees to work, well, anywhere. Home offices offer an integration of work and life. Over 20 million Americans work from home, including 90% of freelancers. Yet the lack of social interaction can lead to loneliness and slower business growth. And there are distractions. Distractions. Many workers seek public spaces for relief. Coffee shops can be found on every corner. This trendy workspace offers free Wi-Fi and good coffee. But the fact is, coffee shops are not designed for work. The noise and lack of privacy are major complaints. As a result, only 2% of freelancers still rely on them to conduct their business. So where can workers go? Co-working spaces help workers find accelerated serendipity. Freelancers can bounce ideas off small business owners. Entrepreneurs can inspire corporate refugees, and fledgling startups can quickly build a diverse social network. All here in one interactive space. Now go find a co-working space in your town and experience accelerated serendipity for yourself.
Okay, so there's the problem. I'd like to just show you quickly one of our videos, which is something that we've done specifically for people looking to go into co-working space that illustrates how we solve that problem at Ourspace.
It's about setting the pace. You need flexibility, mobility, and to be surrounded by dynamic people who inspire you to grow. Gone are the days of buying an office, renting a box with 4 white walls. It's time to break free. Welcome to Ourspace, an inspiring shared workspace environment that's as creative, adaptable, and technologically focused as your business. So what is Ourspace? Simple. Ourspace is your office, your boardroom, your conference room, or simply a place to enjoy a frothy lunch with people. It's a place of inspiration for creating connections. Ourspace is an incubator for your ideas and a birthplace of the ones you've yet to have. No longer are you shackled by the traditional bricks and mortar concept of a workspace. Ourspace is a business community where like-minded leaders are transforming the way business is done in the 21st century. We've created a nurturing environment with a thriving community where you can make meaningful business connections. Sit where you like, or pick a favourite spot. Move in next to another group of visionary thinkers. The strangers sitting next to you today could be a friend, client, or collaborator tomorrow. Combine all the comforts and facilities of an office with all the things you love about working with friends at your favorite cafe. That's not all, because Ourspace understands the need for a work-life balance. Enjoy a yoga class or neck and back massage right at your desk. Power up our unique H2O bar, or steal a cat nap in the Zen room. We think you deserve an amazing workspace, don't you? Whether you're flying solo and working on the go, or part of a dream team working to bring your vision to life, you'll enjoy a multitude of benefits, such as 24/7 access to your workspace, lightning fast internet, on-site IT support, phone and mail handling services, access to our global community on the member portal, and that's just the start. So what are you waiting for? Visit ourspace.work for more information.
Thank you. So, not the best video sound quality, so let me just home in on a couple of those features that you probably won't have seen before in the workspace. Did you hear the guy say, why don't you get a massage? Did, huh? So we have spas in our workplace, yeah? We have spas in the workplace. So in Dubai, we've got a special spa area where people can go for massage. You can have beauty treatments, you can have your hair done, and you can have your nails done. So all set up so that people can enjoy their life in the best way. You can get a complimentary head, neck and shoulders massage at your desk while you work. We have coffee shops, and we serve the best coffee, of course. I like good coffee. So we serve the best coffee, and we do it in two ways. We serve coffee on the go, so you can have it in your office or at your desk. And we have an espresso bar with high tables where you can stand up for a quick meeting, or we serve coffee at tables where you can sit and have an extended meeting. We also do food, and we do good quality food, because as we said before, if you're going to be the best you can be, you better eat good. We don't do junk. We do good quality protein-based food, a main dish with vegetables and good quality, clean ingredients. You want to be good, you've got to eat good. Those are the rules. You mentioned about two of the state-changing facilities. We've got a tantrum room. Yeah, you need to let it all out. Go in the tantrum room and go and let it all out. You need to relax. Go in the Zen room and go and relax. We've got massaging chairs in there and massaging beds, so you can just stretch out and just let the stresses of the day leave them all behind. So, is it an office? Yes, it is. Is it a spa? It's one of those as well. Is it a restaurant? Yeah, pretty much. Coffee shop? Yeah, one of those. All in the same place. Because that's what people do during the day, isn't it? You know, you need to have all of those interactions, you need to meet with other people, you need to eat, drink, be healthy, stay focused. And we create that environment to be the best you can be. That was the brief to the design team, that's what they've given us. So, now we've got such a great concept, what we've got to do is get that out to the masses. And in order to do that, my colleague, you're going to see on the screen actually, he's the other side of the world in Florida, a gentleman called Mr. Sean Phillips. Now, interesting thing about Sean Phillips, he's quite good at memberships. He started a little gym company in the 1990s. He was one of the founding directors. The company's called Fitness First. You heard of that?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so he was one of the founding directors of Fitness First. Now he's with Ourspace. At Fitness First, he put 1.6 million members into 600 gyms. So this is a guy that knows a thing or two about what people want. So I'll let you hear from him.
Hi, I'm Sean Phillips, Chief Operating Officer at Ourspace. My role within the organization is basically one of support. Make sure that our amazing workspaces are filled with motivated members and residents, and to make sure that the entire organization is supported throughout the entire length and breadth of what we do on a daily basis. Hello to magnificent Malaysia and the entire Wealth by Design team. I'm sure that you guys are all being looked after by Dean and Mika and are having a great time in one of my favorite places in the world, Malaysia. Can't wait to get there and to help expand the wonderful world of Ourspace in that glorious, glorious area. We're super excited to have you guys on board and for your amazing support and really for being kind of part of the family along this amazing journey. Coworking is really taking the world by storm. It's the fastest growing sector of the real estate industry and has seen a 7-fold increase since 2011 alone. Both the private and public sectors are seeing immense profitability in coworking. In the United States, the private sector has pumped billions of dollars into coworking, and in Canada, the Canadian government has put over $3 million into expanding coworking in Toronto alone. Coworking is exploding in Asia. Business hubs such as Hong Kong, China, and Singapore have pumped hundreds of millions of dollars into the development of co-working and the entire sector. Demand for co-working has skyrocketed in the last few years, and the demand for co-working continues to grow. One of the most amazing statistics out there is that by 2020, 40% of the workforce is going to be either a freelancer, an independent contractor, or a solopreneur. That's amazing. 78% of co-workers today are under the age of 40. What we're seeing is a really cool mix where we have 5 different generations that are all actually working together, from baby boomers down to millennials. You have baby boomers who were kind of pre-technology, mixing with millennials who are helping the baby boomers kind of get connected, shall we say. Right? But the baby boomers are helping the whole learning curve of a millennial to say, hey, here's kind of where we started from and where we're going. It's a wonderful mix and a wonderful collaboration of the generations. At Ourspace, we're all about enhancing your well-being. So we've enhanced our workspaces to include a number of signature benefits. Our water bars, our greenery, the technology, our Zen rooms to help you relax during the day, our tantrum rooms to help you just kind of get it all out, as well as some of our signature activities. In Marbella, you can walk on the beach. You can have an at-desk massage. You can come and do yoga with us as well. So Marbella is just the beginning. We're now on a quest to build over 500 Ourspace locations across the globe. 2017 will see us open locations in Dubai, Leeds, Miami, Manchester, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Beyond that, we've set our sights on locations in LA, San Francisco, Chicago, Sydney, Australia, Amsterdam, Dublin, Berlin, Paris, Manila, Frankfurt, and Shanghai. Well, I'd just like to say thank you to Dean and Mika and everybody in magnificent Malaysia for your continued support for what is about to be an amazing global phenomenon here at Ourspace.
There you go. If we can't go to Florida, we'll bring Florida to us, huh? Next slide. Okay, so where are we up to on this journey? Well, we started this journey in March of 2016 last year, so we're coming up now to a year and a half in. We delivered our first site in Marbella in the south of Spain on the 1st of February actually this year, and we've got the Dubai location, which is a big one. Dubai is about 21,000 square feet. You've seen some of the visuals on the screen from Dubai. That will open at the end of September, so a big project to get that done, but that's our first real global megacity that will be open in. We're already mid-project in Miami, so right in the middle of the central business district in Brickell Avenue in Miami, and then we've got the Leeds site in the UK. Leeds being the second biggest financial city after London in the UK, and also we've got 2 sites in Manchester. So our strategy in the UK was to not go to London first. London is a very sophisticated market in serviced office and co-working, and we decided that we would start in the other major cities in the UK and then build our way to London. So not London at the moment, but in Asia we're working on 2 sites to close in Singapore at the moment. One in the CBD and one a little bit further down Anson Road, and we're working on a couple of sites in Hong Kong as well, one in Causeway Bay and another one in Fortress Hill. But our plan for Hong Kong is to put 7 sites there as part of our first rollout. And I guess you'll all understand how busy the business community is in Hong Kong, and it will very much stand that level of exposure, if not more. So do you want to run a couple of slides, Dean, and we'll talk through. So Lamborghini Dubai. So this is our location in Dubai. Could it be any more iconic than that building? You might have heard of a very famous 7-star hotel in Dubai called the Burj Al Arab. You've heard of that? Yeah. That was designed by an architect called Carlos Ott, O-T-T, Carlos Ott. Same architect designed that building, the Lamborghini building. And it is the biggest Lamborghini showroom in the world. It would have to be, wouldn't it? We've got the whole of the top floor just underneath where it says Lamborghini Dubai on the building. It's very prominent on the main highway, the Sheikh Zayed Road in Dubai. We've got VIP undercover parking underneath the building. So if you like parking next to a lot of Lamborghinis, that's a good start. There's plenty of on-street parking outside, and we're less than 1 minute walk to the metro station. So we're straight on the public transport network as well. So that's the reception. As the lift doors open, that's what you're greeted with. This is some of the co-working space. So that particular main room there doubles up as a co-working space and also a meeting area. And then on the right side, you see the big whiteboards. And that's an area that we call Think Space. So you can just take yourself off with your thoughts into the Think Space area. You've got a big whiteboard in front of you. You can scribble all your ideas and your strategies up. And then we can use our portable scanner, iPhone, or your Android. Take a picture of it, wipe it all off, and then walk away and leave a clean screen. All your thoughts go with you. So again, use that space for the amount of time that it needs to get those thoughts out onto a whiteboard, get them visualized, wipe it all off and walk away. There's some of the other features in the Dubai location. I think when we opened Marbella, one thing that we definitely wanted to do was make a splash. So we had a party, and we're quite good at parties. So I think we'd like to just show you the video. Quite a night. So we're looking at Marbella. We have a 800 square metre terrace open to the beautiful southern Spain sunshine. So we can host those kind of events quite easily down there. Okay, I think from my point of view, I think I've given you a good insight into where we started. This is the start of our Asian spearhead. We will be coming to put a location in Kuala Lumpur very soon. We will be going to Manila, Hong Kong and Singapore as the start of our Asia expansion. So thank you very much for coming this afternoon. I really appreciate it. I'll hand you over to Dean, who will give you some further details. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin. Alright, now I'd like to invite Mr. Dean Edward, the Director of Asia for Ourspace, to share with you a little bit more on the local market, the investment point of view, and why this joint venture is good for the investors.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, hi guys, thanks for coming. Really appreciate your time. Obviously we've heard from Casey, from Kevin, give you a little bit more details about Ourspace, why it's so powerful, and specifically to this market. I've been living here now for 4 years in KL, and before that, 4 years in Singapore. So I've seen firsthand these locations pop up all around the world. And when you go back and start to Google this yourself, you'll soon start to see that it's not just KL, where they're all popping up with Common Ground, Ourspace, the Colony, where now I have an office in there. You know, Ourspace will be number 4 or 5. At the stage we come to market, I guarantee, just like Singapore, there's going to be over 20 or 25 of these places in the market already. You guys probably yourself work a lot from home, you know, from coffee shops, who go into events. I guess very few of you now work from traditional office space. So my role is, I've performed 2 roles with 2 different companies. I have my own company here, which is Wealth by Design, which is, we sell international property. And my other role is with one of the products that we sell for, which is Ourspace. Now, we partnered with them roughly about, almost when they first started, about a year ago. We decided to partner with them, and along that journey, we've actually managed to pair them up with another one of my good friends, Casey. We've known each other now for about 3 or 4 years. And as Casey said at the beginning, this mix is very good for this, because they have, you know, 15,000 members that are entrepreneurs, that want to improve their skill sets, and, you know, typically are primed for not working in traditional offices. So the fact that we're launching a space that, you know, its success is based upon how full it is, well, I think from day one, when this launches, I think just with Casey's members, I think you're going to have a problem. You might have to expand to 40,000 square feet very quickly. But this is just the first one. So we're hoping to do at least, I think, 5 or 6. We're going to start with KLCC, because as of 2 months ago, when we first started discussing this JV, there was no one there. There was Colony there now, which, if you guys have ever been to these places so far, the Colony just set up in KLCC. I have a space there. They've just opened 4 or 5 weeks ago. So service levels there is not fantastic right now. Some of the stuff that Ourspace are doing are going to blow everyone else out of the water completely. I mean, the fact you can get a massage, I mean, in the Colony, there's not even a printer right now. They've opened too soon. The best one in KL, which I think we need to beat, is Common Ground. I think that would be very easy. The best thing I like about Common Ground is it has that very good coffee shop inside of it, but it also has very good service levels, and that's important for Malaysia. I don't go anywhere, especially back to a restaurant or a bar, if the service is really bad. I know our standards in Malaysia, you have to sort of reduce them compared to the Western world. However, service level, I think, is what's going to take this business off. And also, you know, the products and range of services you can offer. So you truly did never have to leave. I mean, in fact, you get a haircut there. I didn't even know that. They're adding on products every single week, it seems, and that's thanks to Sean Phillips. Sean Phillips, owner of Fitness First, he's the guy driving membership. So I really do think, and we're, you know, quite proud to pronounce that we've put these two guys together. We're going to do some really, really good things in not just KL, but Singapore as well, and all over the world. We're actually on a trip to Manila on Saturday to set up another JV partnership there. So very, very soon you're going to see one of these spaces. And that party in Dubai is going to happen like that in Dubai in October. And if you guys are in Dubai, more than welcome to come. We'll obviously have one in KL as well. And there is only one more video to show, guys. I'm going to keep that very short. I think you've heard pretty much enough. There'll be a Q&A session, I think, next. But I'm going to leave you just one last video, which is the Ourspace video, which is on the website, which just gives you a better feel about who the company are, and we'll just nicely wrap things up.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, right now we are going to go into our Q&A session. Now, because I only have one mic, so we will have a person to pass the mic to you. Please feel free to raise your hand and pass the mic to you. And our gentleman here, you use this mic.
Okay.
Alright. Is there any questions that you want to ask? Yes.
When do you expect to open your first workspace in Kuala Lumpur?
Good question. Yeah, first workspace in Kuala Lumpur. Okay. Well, for us, Kuala Lumpur is the newest of our forays into the Asian market, and typically from the identification of a site, which we're currently doing, the period of time that we need to find the site, negotiate it, do all the design, mobilise a fit-out team, and then do all the site marketing is typically between 6 to 9 months. So on that basis, we could see a site open in Kuala Lumpur probably at the end of Q1 in 2017. Sorry, 2018. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah.
And where in the city are you looking at doing that?
Well, as Dean said before, I think the obvious first port of call in any city really needs to be the central business district. That's where the concentration of business people tends to be. So we always look at the central business districts first. I think it's KLCC here, is it? That'll be our first port of call. And then interestingly, like every big city, not everybody in Kuala Lumpur has to come into the city centre to do their work. So what we tend to do is plant the first flag in the business districts, and then we look at the places around the periphery then, where there are, you know, particular industries, groups of people. In some cities, for example, you get areas that are specific for technology. That's one of the popular ones these days. Fashion is another big sector that tends to congregate in areas, and we can then identify with our real estate partners and our local partners the correct places to put the additional sites. But again, having more than one location in a city is good, because if you've got a downtown meeting, you can come to the downtown one. If you've got an out of town requirement and you don't need to battle through the KL traffic, don't do it. Go to a local one, and work on the outskirts. So our aim is never to go to a city and only create one location. It's about creating multiple locations within a city to service the community properly.
Okay, I've just got a couple of other questions for that one.
Sure.
For Mr. Dean, can you see, because obviously you work here in KL and you've obviously worked in and around a number of the co-working locations you touched on, do you see the size of the market here big enough to sustain the growth that Ourspace is looking for here?
Yeah, thanks, good question. I mean, I've worked in all 3 locations that KL currently has that I class, you know, luxury co-working. There's a lot of co-working in KL and all over the world actually. About 70% of the market tends to be made up of these very poor quality ones, no service, just a printer. Someone's changed their office space, similar size to this, to put a few desks in, not changed the floor, very sort of grimy feel. Them places are mostly full. Obviously it's cheaper membership, but if you look at just the luxury sector, which is where, you know, Ourspace have placed themselves firmly, it certainly won't be the cheapest. But I don't think that's going to be the biggest issue. With the ones that are currently here, so you've got W Space, it's 80% full. That's Mid-Valley, you know, penthouse, great location. Apart from if you want to park, you're paying 15, 20 ringgit a day for parking. But it's got the amenities, nice lunch you can have there, you go shopping, etc. And it's next to obviously Bangsar and Bangsar South, etc., where a lot of expats live. So that area makes sense, and that's 80% full. They only launched in January, so you know, 8 months there. They're making an absolute ton. That's 17,000 square feet. Looks pretty good, but nothing compared to what Ourspace are doing. And added services, all they offer is a space, printing, scanning facilities. The staff are adequate. Nothing really above and beyond that, and a space and a desk to work. The next one is Common Ground, which we mentioned before. The area is Bukit Damansara, not the greatest access. You can park there, seasonal parking, which they do have a plus over W Space, but inside looks really, really good. They have a very good coffee shop there. That's you know, 8 ringgit coffees. They do a lot of activity in social media marketing, which has driven them further. Again, they opened in February and they're about 80-90% full now. When we left the private office there a month ago, before we moved to the Connolly, they had our private office sold straight away, pre-sold before we even left. So they're places like that that are still very busy.
And they're all in 3 different locations, so the 3 ones you looked at.
Yeah, so now we're in the Colony, that only opened 4 weeks ago, and it's already 30-40% full. Obviously, you've got more people in KLCC than places like Bukit Damansara or Mid-Valley. So I think the trend is that you've got so much demand for this, no matter where you launch it, it's not going to take much to get busy. And then add on top of that, you know, we're offering services that no one's ever seen before in this market. Never mind just KL, on the planet. So I think it's a no-brainer, but obviously for so it can be accessible to more people, KLCC is the right thing. I think within 3 months, even before they're launched, they'll be at least 50-60% full.
Okay. I'm sorry, just one last question just for KC. All the everything in the UK, obviously all the stuff that you put up there about Mastery Asia and the coaching and mentoring, is that going to be something that you bring in with Ourspace as well? Obviously bear in mind there seems to be quite a collaboration between what you guys do and obviously bringing in shared workspace and entrepreneurs? Is there going to be a collaboration where you, Master Asia, are going in there as well?
There are two areas we think we're going to be working with. One, of course, obviously, is to be a feeder for all our members to consider the space to use, and for years they've been asking us, or they have indicated their interest to be the place where they can work together and collaborate. So the first thing is to make that available to our member space. The second one is we also have people who are potentially joint venture partners, people who are interested in this area and this business, and they would like to look into this as also an opportunity for them to participate in terms of as an investment.
Okay.
There are two areas that we are looking at, and in that form we are the local partners, marketing partners for that.
Okay, thank you very much.
If I could just add something to that. One thing about creating a home, if you like, for entrepreneurs and new businesses is that some of those ideas will be the global big businesses of the future. And it's often the case that an entrepreneur will start a business with no idea that he's really on to the next big thing. And in a co-working location, we need people like KC and Ivan who can work with entrepreneurs and recognise what they've got and give them not only the facilities in terms of support and help with mentoring and experience, but also to be able to introduce them to financial investors and help them to grow their business. So, you know, what we tend to look at that from an industry point of view, it's really venture capitalism. But where are all the ideas of tomorrow? They're the co-workers of today, and having great access to venture capitalists for a small business. You've seen all the programs on the TV like Shark Tank and Dragon's Den and these kind of things. You know, I mean, okay, that's there for the show, isn't it? But you know, the real life version of that is called venture capital. That's what it is, and that goes on every day in every city in the world. So we can provide a great environment where we can bring venture capitalists in on a regular basis and give everybody an equal opportunity to present their business to a venture capitalist to see whether it's got potential for investment and support going forward. And you know, you find at the first level that it's a lot of the local banks that will provide that entrepreneurial support. They'll send the people in, they'll provide small business loans, but every now and again, you know, you catch a big fish, don't you? And then, you know, you've got big companies like the telecoms people are into it. Google do it. You know, Google have their business called Google Labs, and they invest in hundreds and thousands of tech startups. Why do they do it? In the hope that one makes it, and that one pays for all of the others. So that's, you know, another great benefit that co-working brings to a city. It's a place, and it can become very quickly known as a place where, hey, I've got a great idea, I'm going to go and be an Ourspace member because I know I'll be exposed to people that fund great ideas.
Thank you very much. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, right now we're going to stop a bit on the Q&A sessions. I would like to invite Mr. Kevin, Dean, and Mr. Casey to take a group photo first. Right, so can we have a cameraman?
Okay, I think we need to look like friends now.
Okay, thank you very much. Now